Welcome to Frontiers. Before we begin, a warning. We are about to tell a painful story that for some might reawaken trauma. With help from KYUK and CBS's 60 Minutes, we revisit a school shooting in Bethel that took place 20 years ago this month, a crime soon overshadowed by similar tragedies across the nation. Bethel in many ways seems much like it was 20 years ago. When school buses bring kids home, they still rush outside to play. Bethel has grown to more than 6,000 people, and some good things have happened. The town now has a new recreation center, enjoyed by a generation of kids born long after the shooting. But some in town still look back.
It's surprising that it ever happened out here in a place like this.
I just know that we were all shocked that this could happen here in Bethel.
Never even knew there could be such a thing as a school shooting.
The one thing I really remember is the look on the kids' faces. I suppose group shock would be one way of describing it.
Those who lived in Bethel in 1997 remember exactly where they were and exactly what they were doing when they first heard about the shooting. So where was I 20 years ago? Right here at KYUK, Bethel's public radio and TV station, where I worked as a reporter. My home video camera captured the first footage of the tragedy. Ron Edwards, the principal, was carried out on a stretcher, and another student, Josh Palacios, was already at the hospital. Both would not survive their wounds at the hands of Evan Ramsey, a 16-year-old who came to school that morning with a 12-gauge shotgun and opened fire in the lobby. Several other students were also injured. Everything is very raw. That evening, KYUK aired a live special on the Rural Television Network.
The other student that was seriously wounded has died.
Josh Palacios was pronounced dead as the show was in progress. Evan Ramsey says before his attack on the school, he didn't know that his father had staged a similar shootout and that both had planned to commit suicide. Don Ramsey died in 2005, worried about how his son would handle prison life. Evan Ramsey is no longer a skinny kid with pimples on his face. At 36, his hair has streaks of gray, a reminder he's been in jail for more than half his life. What started it all?
My mistreatment in school.
Ramsey says people called him names, spit on him, and threw trash at him.
It gradually increased to people putting notes on my back, say kick me, and somebody else kicking me.
But how did you choose such an extreme way to express your anger?
I know this sounds really terrible, but it just happened. I came home from school one day and I threw the book bag that I carried with myself in high school. I threw it against the wall, and it happened to be the same wall that the shotgun was on.
A hunting gun that two friends, Matthew Charles and James Randall, taught him to use.
I had a plan of action. I was 100% sure that when I was in high school, after firing the gun, that the students and everybody would sit down and be still and listen to me. Again, an example of a child's mind. I actually thought they were going to sit there and listen to me.
Now, Evan is sorry. He says high school was just a few years. If only he could have kept his anger in check.
Okay, right there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The years have gone by fast for Tiffany Gwynn.
9, 10.
Josh was here, and Evan is here.
She was once in Evan Ramsey's circle of friends. What was the commonality in that circle of friends?
If I had to pick a word, I would call us the weirdos.
And Evan, she says, was a friend she could always count on.
He was a little goofy like all of us, and
I remember him being really empathic almost.
But Tiffany remembers the teasing, how Evan was called Screech after a geek in the sitcom Saved by the Bell.
Screech! Hi, Dad! Yes!
Tiffany remembers how much the name hurt Evan, as well as being picked on for being an Alaska native.
Like, that's a bad thing. Like, that's because you're that, then clearly you must be poorer, or you're in the foster care system, or you're you know, eat nothing but fish, and therefore you're lesser for that. I thought was just cruel.
After Evan's dad went to prison, his mother's drinking got worse. She's pictured here with two of Evan's brothers, both named William, from two different fathers. The Ramsey children wound up in some abusive foster homes, and in one case forced to accept golden showers.
The same boy who peed in our mouth would wake both of us up, pinching our face and our neck with his nails.
Things improved for Evan when Sue Hare, the school superintendent, became his legal guardian. But by then, Ramsey had become a ticking time bomb.
I don't know who came to the school that day, but it wasn't my friend. It wasn't Evan. And I think whoever that person was that came must have killed him too.
But there is something of the old Evan still alive. Who is the person, alive or dead, that you love most in all the world?
My mother.
A mother he believed was good at heart, and when she died, it was then he truly understood the magnitude of what he had done.
There is one thing that my mother told me in one of the last conversations that we had, which was to be good and be nice to people. And I've made a serious attempt at trying that. And in this environment, it's tough a lot of times.
The two boys who helped Evan Ramsey plan the attack served a few years in prison. Ramsey will be eligible for parole when he's 82. He says visitors are rare, and none of his former classmates visit him. Up next, sometimes a mother's love, no matter how strong, isn't enough to protect a child. Not long after an ambulance carried Josh Palacios up this hospital emergency ramp, his life ended. And for his mother, Claudia,
Did you find the application stuff easy?
the healing goes on. Today, she manages the hospital's registration desk, a job she enjoys because she lives to help others.
This little girl came to live with me when she was 6 months old.
Claudia Palacios is a foster mother many times over.
Joshua, Erica.
Her son, Josh, liked to bring kids in need of love to their home, and she wishes Evan Ramsey had been one of them.
I live in my faith, and my faith is kind of what keeps me sane, and, you know, God wants me to help others, and there was a part of me that just had to forgive him.
Forgive, yes, but not forget. Claudia once hoped to visit Evan Ramsey in prison.
I visualize my arms around him, and those tears being real hard, you know, and him feeling that pain from me if he was that close to me.
But after 20 years, she wonders what they would have to say to each other.
I wanted to know why. You know, that was like the question you ask, you know, all these years. Why me? Why Josh? Why?
Do you have an answer for the why?
No. No.
Does it matter?
No. When I was asking the question, I thought it mattered, but it doesn't matter.
What matters?
What matters? That it doesn't happen again.
Up next, how teachers have come to terms with the tragedy. But first, an update on the Ron Edwards family who moved out of state after the shootings. His wife Cindy wrote us to let everyone know they're doing okay.